Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly, or in this case bi-weekly, Final Fantasy XIV podcast. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the live letter that just came out of E3 2018. Peaches, peaches, peaches. But if that was all the show was, then I would be calling it that. However, I also had the chance to sit down with Naoki Yoshida and Yoshida Soken, so we're going to be going over that as well. But to do that, we need at least two hosts, probably. So I'm one of them, Mr. Happy, and then we have Sly, who aka Greyfox, the whole thing, those. We've been through it a few times. It's been 169 episodes at this point, giggity. So I don't really know that we necessarily need, the whole thing anymore. Just throw that out.
We're good.
Yeah. Well, we're almost good, Sly. We're almost good.
Are we?
We are. Almost. Yeah.
Almost.
Well, the reason why it's almost not all the way is some of you may remember that last month I said there would be Steel Series giveaways monthly for State of the Realm. Now, that giveaway was supposed to be pulled last week during all of the Ultimate Madness. But because I was doing Ultimate, we didn't do a show, I just pulled it off stream. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll tell everyone who the winner was when we, when we go live next time. I didn't do it Monday because still kind of barely functioning at that point. So, I sent the winner an email like a week and a half ago at this point. And they haven't replied. So what we're going to do at the top of the show is we're going to, A, give people a reminder that we do have those monthly Steel Series giveaways now for the show. And B, I'm going to pull another winner real quick. I won't use their real name, but I'll at least re-pull a winner, Sly. Did you enter?
Yeah, that sounds good.
If I pull your name, I'm going to be really upset.
I told you before the show, like 3 times I did not enter. Even though I wanted to, I did not enter.
And I told you 3 times before the show that just because you said you didn't enter doesn't mean I believed you. Okay, I said saying Beetlejuice 3 times doesn't make it true. It doesn't make him show up. So,
okay, if there is somebody's like putting
I
my
swear,
name
if somebody
in,
gives if I see a Samuel, even if it's not you, I'm gonna think you used a fake last name. All right, it's all right. It's all right. It's okay. I understand you wanted to win. It's all right. I pulled nothing even remotely close to your name.
Go ahead.
That's all right. So I know exactly who this person is because they're someone who frequents the stream. 79 James. I see he comes by the stream a lot. So
see, it wasn't me. Ha.
Yeah. So I just checked it. I had it over on Gleam, and I had the old winner and that person. Stop honking. And I had that person pulled, and I just clicked repick winner. And I got 79 James. So I'm gonna send him. I could honestly send him a Twitch whisper because I know exactly who that is. But I'll send him an email. And that's who our winner for the month of May is going to be. Now, let me re-describe to everybody what this monthly Steel Series giveaway is. Steel Series has been sponsoring my channel personally for a couple of years now. They decided they also wanted to do some giveaways on State of the Realm. So every month we do one giveaway. And all the rules, all the ways to enter, all that stuff is going to be in the description of the YouTube video for this tomorrow. So if you're watching this live on Twitch, tomorrow when this hits YouTube, go to the description. You'll find a Gleam link. Go there, do whatever it asks you to do, and you'll be entered for a chance to win. We'll do those every month, and I'll start doing those reminders at the start of the show so people don't forget, because I was doing them at the end of the show or not at all. So congratulations, 79 James, and good luck to everyone entering for next month.
Good luck.
Come on!
It's LA. It's LA, dude. Come on.
Yeah, but rush hour is not for like another 10 minutes. They're early. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to have a good time.
It's E3. It's E3.
E3 is on the other side of LA. I want none of your excuses, Sly.
Okay. Never mind.
All right. So let's get talking about E3 then.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Yeah, E3. Oh boy.
We're only talking about the 14 portion of E3, Sly.
Okay, yeah, the good part. All right, that's fine.
The good part. I don't know. This live letter depends on who you ask.
If you ask me, peaches, but old. Like I can take new
peaches.
Old peaches, like the old moldy peaches. Yeah, no, you don't want those peaches. You want new peaches.
Do you really though? Some people would just rather not have peaches at all.
They wouldn't, but like lesser of two evils here. Yeah, I'd take new peaches over old peaches. And I kind of feel for Matt. Because here's why I feel for Matt.
Okay.
You realize that Matt had a whole list of questions, and he picked the questions he picked. So think about the questions he didn't pick.
The ones that were worse.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
So I already know. So I've been explaining to people who for some reason haven't figured out how live letters work yet. Live letters work. It's a 3-phase process. There's right after the patch, there's in the middle before the patch, and there's 2 weeks before the patch. That's our cycle right there. 1, 2, 3. This is number 1. This is just after a patch released. So they're mostly looking at stuff that just happened or miscellaneous information that's unrelated to the immediate following patch. So the questions they aren't going to take are literally about 4.4. Those like literally, they're not going to be like, well, our next primal. Who's the next primal? I can't tell you that yet. Who's the last boss the next Omega tier? Can't tell you that yet. Like they're literally the questions that I think people expect to get answered are the last questions that will be answered, and I regularly get a pretty good kick out of it. I could probably like field a dozen questions right now and answer them instead of Yoshi P and be just as accurate right now.
Should we do that? Should we do it?
I did it live. A State of the Realm Q&A about Final Fantasy XIV from people who don't work for Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'd probably still be relatively accurate, statement wise.
Yeah, we would. We would.
Yeah. 10 people in a row going, can we get Viera? Like, they're not going to answer that. They're gonna. It's either they're going to talk about the technical issues. They're going to say, "Please wait."
And then those like 50 questions that leak in about like the 7 remake. Like, dude, really?
Honestly, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to read the thread myself this time. Remember how the last thread I said I'd read it for the first time in ages? I didn't do that for this one, and I'm kind of curious right now. So let's see if I can find. Ask questions for the. Oh no! All right, let's just read the first one and then we'll move on. Okay, just the first one. You know what? I'm looking at it. I don't think this is. I'm looking forward to the new Deep Dungeon in Eureka, but neither of these are included with the patch and are being added later. I'm already done with the quests introduced. There's only a little bit of daily and weekly content. Please consider including some more time-consuming content in the base patch in the future. I don't think that's an unreasonable first question. I don't think it's a question they would ever answer because it's not worded very well. It's basically, it's basically questioning the staggered releases, and I know exactly the answer they would get to that. But I don't think that's a horrible. Let's go till we get a bad question. I think.
Okay, that's fine.
The second question seems reasonable. You recently made changes to Astro and Scholar, improved their usability, and they're asking about White Mage and the Lily system, which I think is reasonable. Saying, it just doesn't bring a whole lot. It's unique. Where are the Diable Ultima horns at? Okay, I think we can stop at that one then, right?
Peaches.
I see the fourth
fucking peaches.
I see the fourth question here is actually one of the ones that made it through. Too many roll actions that are mandatory. That's one of the ones that actually made it through.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I think that's a really good one.
It's all right. At least we got to a peaches question. One at the very least.
Yeah, one.
Let's see. So, with that, let's actually talk about the live letter itself. We'll get to talk about the questions that did make it through plenty. So, okay. I love this. Yoshida keeps asking players to sleep. He knows.
I'm sorry, what?
He knows players haven't been sleeping who've been doing Ultimate. So he's demanding that they sleep. He did it in the live letter. He did it in my interview. He's demanding people sleep.
Okay. I've been playing a little bit of Bless. We all have eventually because it came out recently. Every now and then in game they give you the warning. You know, you've been playing for a while. You should probably get some sleep. It's the Morgana rule. You know, you're tired. You should get some sleep. Do you think we're gonna get that warning in game?
I don't know.
We're gonna get that warning in game.
I don't know, but I like Time's response to it. But if I sleep, how can I be woke? There you go. It wasn't mine. You're walking away from him, not me. It wasn't my joke. I'm just repeating the chat. So
go on.
He can't even hear me, so he doesn't know where I am in the conversation.
I can hear you. I can hear you just.
All right. Well, it wasn't me who made the joke. Then you hear that. Why did I say it like that? You hear that?
Oh, God. I think the moratorium for woke memes has passed.
Listen, honestly, I've been saying it for a few days now. Like, Fold missed the opportunity on his Laha Bread jokes. Like, keep in mind that if you have Laha Bread, Garuda, her letter will also end the same as Laha Brea, so it would have been Garud Dad. So, I still like Garud Dab the most. I'm glad you put your headsets back on. Your headset back on. Real glad you did that.
Hey.
Okay.
Thanks.
Right. So for the first 20-25 minutes, they mostly just talked about the Monster Hunter World collaboration. Not too in-depth details, just talking about how it kind of came to be.
Yeah, and I think that was interesting. And this begs the question for me.
Okay.
Like, who else does fucking Yoshi P know?
I don't know, but...
Who is in his phone? Who's in his phone? I did not think Tsujimoto was in his phone. Like, who the fuck else does he know?
He's Yoshi P. He knows everybody.
Good Lord.
He just knows everybody. That's it. And he's known him for a very long time at that, because apparently they go talking about how 8 years ago when Yoshida got put on 1.x.
I thought this was funny. Yeah.
And the producer of Monster Hunter World, he says Tsujimoto is his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He said that, if you need any of Capcom's resources, let us know if you want to do something, with the game. And then he's like, well, let me make it good first. And then and then 8 years later.
You missed the part. You missed the part before that when Tsujimoto was like, what are you thinking? Are you sure about this? Like really, are you sure about this? Your career is going to be
destroyed. He was wrong.
He was wrong. I get that, but at the same time, that's a good friend. That is a good friend in Tsujimoto.
A real friend. He's like the friend who would make sure you don't skip leg day. That's the kind of guy Tsujimoto is, or that doesn't let you put pineapples on pizza. That's the kind of friend he is.
Don't do it. Don't fucking.
Even Yoshida apparently today. He was just on a server logged in, and he answered no pineapple.
Thank you.
It's so funny just seeing he's like no pineapple in all caps.
Just say pineapples to pineapples. Pineapples. Just don't do it. No.
Yeah. But yeah, they had Tsujimoto come on the show. They showed off the Behemoth plus Cactar thing, which apparently we talked about it Monday because it was leaked. Yeah.
Thanks, Germany.
Yeah, that was that they were like, this has never been seen before. Of course not.
I love that joke.
Yeah, and showing off the Behemoth and the Cactar, and a reminder that Rathalos will be coming to Final Fantasy XIV. Now, what I found interesting was what they went on to say later about that. You need to be level 70 and have Stormblood completed, the base story. But they said specifically that they had to make the Rathalos battle feel like a Monster Hunter battle in Final Fantasy XIV and tune it for 8 players.
So it's a raid. So it's a
trial.
Normal and hard. Yeah, well, trial. Excuse me. So it's a normal and hard mode trial.
Well, I'd say it's normal. We don't really do normal and hard mode anymore. Like hard mode used to be just with designated like max level 8 player content.
We're not gonna get an extreme.
No,
I really wish we would. That's part of my wish, but no, we're not gonna get an extreme. So you probably they said I remember hearing this in the stream. They said normal and hard mode, but I think that was kind of a misspeak. So I think, it's just going to be one difficulty. You're not going to get a second difficulty. Like you're not going to get an extreme, which I really wish for, but
Yeah, it was interesting because a lot of people were wondering if it was a fate, a trial. We had kind of on Monday leaned towards trial because it was in the first room of Bardham's Medal. It had the whole trial opening. Whole designing it around 8 players kind of just seems like hard confirmation. There's also been some other interviews that came out from PAX. One where he mentioned it should be slightly more challenging than your average trial, mostly because they're trying to incorporate Monster Hunter style mechanics. So I'm wondering if he can break his fucking tail off or some shit, or duty action flash pods. You know. He's not tempered. That would be a good. He's not tempered, so it'll work.
He's not tempered. He's not tempered.
What if he gets like tempered in the middle of the fight?
Like what? Azure Rathalos? Yeah.
Mounting him, like there's a few things that could be. Yeah, so he said it should be not only a fun challenge, but it should be at least somewhat, you know, it's probably a higher challenge than people necessarily anticipate.
I want, like, the thing I'm wondering is, like, how much the knowledge you have from his moveset is in World will affect the fight in 14. Because if you know his moveset in World, you can pretty much see a lot of things coming. And, like, I wonder if that's going to, like, give you an advantage, or it's not going to mean shit because they're going to give him a completely new moveset. I don't know.
All I know is I hope that he has untargetable ads along the outside. Their B-52s doing dive bombs. Drop them.
No. Or yeah, the scales, the B-52 scales. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they can dive bomb and drop their little ball chins at the same time, I suppose.
Right.
They could do both at the same time. I'm down. I'm waiting for it. I'm really curious to see how this pans out. But the most interesting detail is that it's an event that's more like the Garo event, in that it's not less of an event and more of a this thing is being added to the game in collaboration with. So it's not a limited time event. It's just a thing you have to do at levels. A thing you can do at level 70, pretty much.
Wait, can we still do Garo?
Yeah, you could just go. You could still like Garo was never an event. It was just there's an NPC.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
So it's pretty much the same as that, where it just never goes away, pretty much.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about
I'm down for that.
Getting it done like in a limited time frame, pretty much. So that was another little interesting thing. And they specifically said that the rewards will be revealed later as we get closer to the release. And they said that specifically as we get closer to July. So we're looking at a July release for this event.
So if we're thinking Heaven on High is July 3rd, my birthday. Happy birthday. Where at in July are we thinking for the collaboration?
It's either 4.35 or 4.36, in my opinion. So either that day or 2 weeks later.
Okay.
That would be my guess. I don't see any reason for me to put my guess personally any further, any earlier, any later.
Right.
I think they'll line it up with. I mean, actually, I guess one thing I hadn't considered is we do have events, like in-game events, like seasonal events going on. I don't know if they'll try to stick it between the two seasonal events we have, between the early part of summer and the middle to later part of summer. So it could be dependent on that as well. So it could be actually could be offset by another week, but plus minus either way. I just want to fight Rathalos, yo.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I want Behemoth in World.
So I got a quick question for you about Behemoth in World, because I think you've kept up with it a little better than I have, because I haven't really felt the desire to log in without G rank.
Okay.
No, it's the truth. I haven't wanted to do like Tia,
Lunastra,
yeah, I'm sorry,
Kulve.
Luna. Yeah. And there's been some disappointment factors I've seen. I've heard people complain that the new armors from these were recycled, like recolored versions of like iron and bone armor and stuff like that.
Yeah. The arc-tempered Kirin is basically the same Kirin armor you've seen.
So do you think Behemoth is just reskinned armor? Maybe if it's a different color? Or do you think they'll go the extra mile for Behemoth?
No, I think they actually go the extra mile for Behemoth since he's new. I don't know what they could do possibly for it. I mean, in terms of the fight itself, I could say Behemoth would probably behave more to a Nergigante.
I've heard people saying that his skeleton looks like it's Zenogre's skeleton.
That's going a little bit too far. Meaning that they actually have assets for Zinogre in place.
That would be that's people are implying that they're potentially like updated assets from another Monster Hunter title that have been like worked in engine to this, and they're just using them for Behemoth as well. I've seen people suggest it, but that's why I'm bringing it to you.
Yeah. As far as the armor and potentially weapon is concerned, yeah, new assets, completely new assets, like something we haven't seen before. It's not going to be recycled or reskinned in a way.
Yeah, so I have another translation here that's coming into the chat where it says, we are intending to prepare enough time so they don't have to do that. I'm trying to think of which interview it was that I saw where they implied that it was not a limited time event. So we'll have to see how it actually works. I remember Garo was supposed to be limited time and it just stayed around.
Yeah.
They kept telling us, it'll be around for a long time, which implies that there either will at some point be an end date, and then there just wasn't. They just left it in. So we'll have to see what actually ends up happening, because Behemoth, I'd imagine, wouldn't be timed exclusive for Monster Hunter. I mean, they could do it like Culve, where it comes and goes, because the PC player is going to be pissed if they don't get a shot at Behemoth when it eventually comes around.
Right. Well, the thing about how Monster Hunter works is you get these events and then they kind of go away, and then you get maybe a seasonal event that brings back every single event you've done in the past. So if we happen to get a summer or fall event, then 9 out of 10 you'll probably, if Behemoth is a come and go type event, you'll probably see him then. So it's not like you're going to completely miss him. He's going to be there again eventually, but he's not going to be there for long.
I imagine, Chat just said it. I imagine they'd have to bring him by for a PC release. Like, they can't just bring him for the summer and then get rid of him when it comes around. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening, but it's a cool collaboration. I'm good to be seeing more details about it.
Right.
All right. So moving on. Next was the Q&A. Sly, I don't actually think these questions were terrible. They're not meaty. Okay, let me rephrase. Most of them are not terrible.
Oh, okay.
There's two or so that could have really
two.
I'm just guessing. I don't know how many are here.
Okay.
All right.
I got my notes up. All right.
I mean, the first question was about the character creation feeling limited. People want a better character creator. That's a major feature, dude. I remember when Black Desert Online came out. That was all anyone fucking talked about. Unfortunately, it's still the only thing anyone talks about, but that's besides the point.
But you take this question and you pair it. Well, I don't like pairing responses from chat. But butt sliders, boob sliders, butt sliders, boob sliders. Can we get butt sliders and boob sliders in game?
This was a way of asking for the butt sliders without asking for the butt sliders. Because it could be other things.
No.
I'm just saying.
People want them thick rows. You want them thick rows, don't you? Yeah.
Want those they want the thigh sliders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want that biscuit, don't you? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Regardless, I don't think it's a terrible question to ask about updating the character creator. Do you know how many people just make new characters or fucking buy Fantasias because of the fucking character creator? This is a person who buys Fantasias right now. This person has probably spent thousands of dollars on that character creator, okay? I think they've earned a question. I think they've earned it.
No, they've earned a room in the crazy ward. Because why? Like, seriously, why? Like, if you spent that much on Fantasia, I understand you want to change your character every now and then. Like, once or twice a year, or maybe 3 times a year, I'll give you that. Like, that amounts to what? How much are Fantasias now on Mux?
$10 $10 if you just buy one standalone.
Okay, so that we're talking about $30 a year. If you're spending more than that, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
seriously.
You've calmed down. Dude, they make the game money. I would love a statistic on how many Fantasias have been bought in a given fiscal year.
Next census data. Yes.
Next census data, tell us the number of Fantasias sold. Please. I think we would have a good time. Good time.
No, we would just fucking ask you what the fuck is wrong with you people. Seriously.
The next one's another, I guess I call it a value question because it's about getting more bang for your buck. Team ever consider making all the Mog Station items account wide? Now it seems like a Peaches question, but the answer is actually a little concerning.
Right.
The answer is that the reason why not all Mog Station items are account wide is because they actually require a specific key to apply to a certain item when they're placing them in game. And it's physically difficult to accommodate for that with the current moment, so they're saving account-wide space for higher quality items. That sounds like more leftover spaghetti of either 1.0 or of the way they initially designed the Mog Station, one of the two.
Now you say leftover spaghetti from 1.0, what do you mean? Because a
lot of stuff that we still have that kind of sticks around that causes some pretty hilarious bugs or effects on the game is mostly stuff that's left over from the code in 1.0 that they transitioned over when they were remaking the game for 2.0. So I think that I think it's another example of that. It's honestly something that they probably can fix when they actually get around to getting the resources for it, but for now they're being a little conservative. I just think that the answer is more interesting than the question necessarily, because it goes on to expose another potential programming or management flaw to, you know, the fact that A Realm Reborn had to be kind of developed in a rush.
Right.
Yeah. So again, see, so far we're 2 for 2. I don't think either of those questions are Peaches. I don't think they are.
Keep going.
Next one's about Palace of the Dead in Eureka. And it's about how actually this is the fucking first question that we noticed on the thing. They asked about why they stagger content releases.
And see, this is like, again, this isn't really a Peaches question, but again, me or you could probably answer this question. Or pick
You're not wrong. You're not wrong about that.
You pick anybody from the community and they could answer this question. Like seriously. Releasing Heaven on High with everything we have now, or Ultimate. The
or
fuck are you
Pagos.
gonna do after that? Yeah, exactly. The fuck are you gonna do after that? Not to mention the fact that it interferes with gear. So, and they even said that on stream.
Yeah.
So if you put both of them in, one is going to get completely left out. Nobody's going to do it because everybody's going to go to the one that gives the better gear. So,
better gear or the one that they don't have to try as hard to access is another thing. Even if they could be the same item level. No, I think that's a big point. Like I know that I wouldn't farm Tsukiyomi for an item level increase if Heaven on High gave one, for example. I would probably forego the Tsukiyomi one and just go Heaven on High because that shit's going to be brain dead.
But you bring up the good, like the point of, effort versus, time.
Yeah.
And if you compare the two, and you say that, Heaven on High would be better, people would probably still pick Tsukiyomi because it's less of a time sink, even though people are on
you tell people it's less of a time sink, and then you tell the people who are in the Party Finder who do the pugs that it's less of a time sink. They will readily disagree.
And no, I'm speaking on that behalf. Because I've gotten like a Tsukiyomi weapon within Party Finder. I had to do all 10. I never got mine to drop. I would probably still pick Tsukiyomi over.
I don't know. I'd beat Tsukiyomi once probably, and then if I got the mount, whoop-de-fucking-do. If I didn't, I'll probably never see it anyway.
Ha! Got the mount within my 5th clear.
Lucky you.
Woo!
Too bad it sucks compared to the Namazu mount. And my Corpicur, of course. Of Corpicur. Yeah, there you go.
I like my doggo. I like it.
All they were asking is why did they do it staggered? And they said there's a deliberate reason. They want to make sure people have enough time to consume one piece of content, move on to the next one. So they spread it out. See, an answer we've seen before. It's not necessarily a Peaches question. It's just a question that any one of us could have answered without needing to go directly to Yoshida.
Right.
Specifically, the example he gave was that if Eureka and Tsukiyomi had been in the same patch, both reward weapons, people may choose to skip one or the other. I don't know if that's hard confirmation of Eureka being the same item level as Tsukiyomi weapons, or if they was just a random example. I'm not going to read too much into it.
I would, honestly. That just tells me that, probably Heaven on High is maybe the same, if not slightly better.
I don't know with well, I mean, it depends on itemization, but like a lot of people are expecting Heaven on High to go to 365 and Eureka to go to 370. That's where a lot of people's predictions are right now. So curious to see if this was just more of a random statement and less of an indication of invalidation of the content if they had been released at the same time. So yeah, I don't care. I'm fine with the staggered releases. It works better for me personally.
Yeah, me too.
So
me too.
I'm just greedy. Yeah. It just works better for me. So
we all are greedy. We're all greedy. We want all of our stuff at the same time, but people don't understand that other content gets left out. So neither here nor there.
That's just people like me just bitch. I don't even bitch anymore.
Wait,
but
why are
people
you
like
bitching?
Me. I don't, but people like me who like go through in like a day and like just try to knock everything out, at least beat it once and not really worry about the rewards from it. Yeah, people like me who do complain are the people who are complaining. And we fucking no life that shit. So we just can't complain about shit.
Right. We can't.
It's really hard to complain when you over consume something. It's like eating a 124-ounce steak. I have
nothing to do now. Whose fault is that?
I finished this 124-ounce steak. What am I supposed to do now?
What am I supposed to eat now? I ate the sandwich. I want another sandwich.
I do want
that. Exactly.
I could go for a sandwich. I didn't eat much today, so.
Yeah, I'm getting wings and beer.
I'm getting wings.
Now, before we get to the next question, he actually took the time to present the Heaven on High mount.
Yeah, I don't have. It's a fucking dodo. I don't need to show you a picture of a dodo.
It's a dodo. It's a dodo. It's a dodo.
You know what a dodo looks like. If you don't know what a dodo looks like in this game, go to like teleport to friggin' Swift Perch and just go step outside and you'll find a dodo. That's the mount.
There you go.
Yeah, that's gonna be from Heaven on High. Also, the new hairstyle that won the design contest is gonna be a reward from him.
How much? Okay, now the people were bringing this up. How much do you like? Do you think it'll be marketable? Like you can put it on the market, and if so, how much is that shit going for first day?
I don't know. It depends. Maybe they could do it where how there's a currency you could get with the potsherds. It could be bought with potsherds, in which case it doesn't. I don't know that it necessarily has a gil value tied to it. It could also be something that comes from the Accursed Horde, which I think more people are expecting. It's going to come from an Accursed Horde, so we'll have to see which one it is.
Right.
The mount, I don't know if it's going to be for doing floor 100 or if it's going to be from the Accursed Horde.
I'm thinking Accursed Horde.
I think that most people are because of the way the Black Pegasus worked. Dude, I got my Black Pegasus the only time I went past floor 150. I got my Black Pegasus that run, so I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to go back in, right?
Yeah.
All right, so the next question, and I'm gonna take this one because like I have my personal notes for this one. Like I feel like I could have answered this one, or no. This is more of a Sly answer. Will Ishgard ever get housing? My notes. No. Who the fuck wants to live in the Wire? No plans to live. No plans to add it. Bruh, you are trying to get out of the ghetto. Why do you want to go back to the ghetto? Like, I'm just saying. That's my answer.
Well, it was funny because the last time somebody asked this, Yoshida just said that Ishgard kind of looks like shit. So he said maybe if Korthus ever thaws out or anything, maybe it would be a better location. And people thought that it was confirmation of another calamity or some shit. But I mean, the idea behind Ishgard is just that people like that, I guess, more medieval looking area, and they want to live there.
But it's the ghetto.
It is the ghetto.
You see the struggle everywhere you go, even on like the higher, the upper echelon of Ishgard. You still see the hood. Like, you live in the upper echelon of the ghetto. Congratulations. I'm fine, Shirogane. I'm fine. I'm not moving. Fuck you.
All right, yeah. I mean, they said that if they were ever going to add another area, Ishgard at this point, I don't think they could avoid doing it. They said that if we ever do another brand new area, Ishgard's at the top of our list. They didn't say they were gonna do it though. They just said we're not like working on it right now or anything. It's just that if we ever do another zone, that's the next place to go. Dude, they want to role play. They want to role play as poor people, Sly, after spending $30 million on a house.
Why do y'all want to live in a juvenile video? That's what I'm saying. Like, why do y'all want to live? Why do you want to live? Why do y'all want to live in a juvenile video? Like, you could do some. If somebody wants to do this,
Sly,
it's fine. Like, what?
It's not about where you come from. It's not about where you go. It's about what's in here. All right, and no matter where we are. As long as we have this bond and this connection, we'll be all right. So that's why they want to go to Ishgard.
Mike, you moved out of the bricks. You are not in the bricks anymore, right? You're not in the bricks. You're not Brick City.
Bricks,
right?
I live in L.A.
Exactly. You moved out of the bricks. You are not East Coast anymore. You're not in Jersey. You're not in Newark.
No one ever called that shit the brick. There are no bricks in my house. Shit was made of cement. Could stand like a tier 3 tornado.
Point being, you don't want to you move out of the ghetto.
It wasn't a ghetto.
You're not. I know you're not in the ghetto, but the majority of.
Then why did you use me as the example? That's why I'm confused. Dude, living in Newark for college was the closest I ever lived, and I had a nice ass fucking apartment, so even that don't count. I'm just saying. I was the wrong example.
Yeah, you might have been. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll let you take the next one.
Next one's, I think this is a good question. Questions about, are they ever going to streamline the early story quests? You know, the ones that you just buy jump potion and skip past, or you hate yourself?
We've streamed, we have streamlined it a little bit.
No, we haven't. You know how we streamlined it? Here's how much is the fucking jump potion? That's how we streamlined it.
That too, but
no, we have done. There's been no other work to streamline it. Zero. The only thing that makes it easier is if
there wasn't a point. There wasn't a point when it was easy. Like it was.
So
really
here's the thing: the only thing that's easier is it's a little easier to level, so you don't get locked out of quests, especially on servers that have road to 60. But they didn't. That doesn't mean that when you're going to fucking visit Ramul, I don't have to do fucking 8 hours of dumbass fucking quests, which is how it is and how it has been and how it will be. That hasn't changed. Just because I can get to level 50 faster and level 60 faster doesn't mean that those quests don't still exist. They never decreased the number of quests.
Right.
But so it didn't fucking they didn't trim shit. So people ask, when are they going to do that shit? And they said they literally admitted we have to do it at some point.
Right.
And they've answered this before where they say it just takes a lot of dev resources. But they straight up said that they've already planned it out and they just need to figure out when they do it. Because they know it needs to happen. Which is good because the last time it didn't seem like that was the answer we were getting. It seemed like we can never do this because we'd rather focus on new things. That was the last time we got this answer. So, Sly, if you ever make a new character, then make it after this. Or make it before in Jump Potion. Your choice.
And we're going to get to that in a later question.
I was going to say, Aloha's not in here, so it's definitely not a litter question.
Next question. Feels like some role actions seem mandatory. Instead of removing them?
Well, they want to. So they asked if they could remove the mandatory ones and just put them on the job itself, like Asuna, or Protect, or Provoke. Those are things that like almost every time a tank is gonna take or a healer is gonna take or whatever. There's no point in even offering them as a choice. They're not a choice, which is kind of the point of why they were put there in the first place. They were like abilities that those jobs had already in like their own way, and then they just made them a role action instead. White Mage, very familiar with that. And they said they are looking at role actions. They're trying to figure out what they want to do with them exactly.
So this one not really a Peaches question. It's a legitimate gripe, and I completely understand it.
Yeah, you pretty much, if anything, you have maybe one choice of which of the 6 remaining role actions after the first 4. Like that's really the core of your choice. But they want them to give the mandatory skills just back to the jobs and then create more interesting choice with the role actions themselves. So, they said that, yeah, this is actually something they've been discussing a lot internally right now, and that they could even maybe roll something out as early as 4.4, but they're not going to commit to that. They're just, they're seeing what they can do. How would you, so what would you pick, Sly? What role actions do you pick every time on Dragoon? Quiz.
Every time?
Every time. Give me one that you've never taken off your role action bar.
What haven't I taken off? Bloodbath.
Sorry, Warriors.
Yeah, sorry. Love you. True North is, DPS.
Yes.
Surprisingly now more than Second Wind.
Second Wind, yeah. I think that's the third mandatory one for melee DPS. I think at that point we kind of have a little bit more of a choice, depending on the fight.
Yeah, depending on the fight, like depending on what you have to deal with, it's either it's going to be arm's length, feint, and then diversion.
Yeah.
Now, some people do say diversion is mandatory. I'm like, man,
you just backflip, you fucking son of a bitch. I ain't purifying. Exactly. You're fucking high if you think I'm using purification.
No. Like I backflip in Prague. Once I know the shit, I'm not backflipping for shit. You better have your shit together. I'm popping diversion on fucking cooldown. If I fucking pull hates, you did something fucking wrong. I'm sorry. Fuck you.
Now, luckily, I'm a monk, so I have a stun built into my kit, so I never take the stun. If I need the stun, I just commit to remembering. I have a silence in my kit for the same reason. It's shit to use Armor the Destroyer, but I'm still not going to take the silence as a role action. Instead, in fact, I shouldn't be the one taking it. Somebody fucking else should be dealing with that silence who isn't me. So, I mean, at that point, there's not really much choice left for melee, but I think melee probably has more choices than the rest, depending on the fight. Like, fights where you need arm's length, like a lot of Delta Escape and
like
Escape. Yeah.
You first Kefka, you're definitely gonna take fucking arm's length. After once you get the god, you take that shit off, put on diversion and shit, and then keep it moving.
Yeah. It's yeah. But regardless, there's too many actions that I will take every time, and then there's no choice. There's no point. There's no choice. You have no choice. You'll always need certain things, certain fights. You don't have a choice. Shut up. You don't get to make choices here. Just listen. There you go. You don't listen with your eyes, but that's besides the point. Next one is, any plans for a search and application interface for finding FCs in-game? Beats getting a random fucking invite from 8 million different FCs when you make a new character.
Right. And right now we really, people ask about joining the FC, and I'm like, okay, just find us. Like, how? And I still don't know how to answer that. I still don't know how to find my own fucking FC. Like, if somebody was new, how would you find my FC? I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, a search function for FCs would be good. Would be very nice. And they said plans are being drafted for this. Not next update, but soon. So we're thinking.
I mean, we don't know, dude. And whenever they don't give me an exact date, I wait patiently. That's it.
4.4.
I think they said they won't make it for 4.4 specifically.
Okay, they said update. I'm thinking small update. Next major update. Okay.
So, yeah. I think they're going with 4.4. I think that's what it won't be ready for specifically. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate, even when I make new characters for random events and shit. My fucking character name is I am Mr. Don't FC in me, and I will still get FC invites. I think I'll make a character called I am Mr. first name, last name DNT INVME bro. Or don't FC in me. One of the two. I don't know. That'll be a character name at some point.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The solo instances one. Yeah, I mean, this is the one we've seen a million times.
And then again, I feel like we could have answered this one. Like, we could have, like, we know Yoshi P's answer. And he said, even though he said something completely new, make a new character. And I said this in my notes, just make a goddamn alt. That's what I have in my notes.
But here's the thing. You understand that to appreciate a fight at any given point, you need to have a character at that given point. You need to never beat it. It's not like it's a single-player game where I can save scum this shit, you know?
Right.
I'm just saying, I'm glad to see that they say they have ideas and they're working on it.
Yeah. But for now, make a goddamn alt.
No, make a new character.
Make a new character. No, Sly answer, make a goddamn alt.
There you go. Minion list updates, because that thing sucks to navigate. I'll give you that. This is a bit peachy. I mean, it's the truth that it is terrible to navigate that thing. The mount list as well, but
is it? I mean, is it difficult, or have you gotten used to it?
Like, I kind of understand like where certain types. Excuse me. Sorry, it's a Peaches question. It's certain types of minions I can find real quick. Like all the yokai ones are bunched together, for example. But otherwise, I mean, specifically, it wants it to show them like where they're located. You know, a better, I guess, maybe a little bit more info about them. So instead of like going through your achievements and finding achievements that have minions tied to them or Googling it, you just look at the minion list. And it'll tell you earn from the achievement this, and then take you to the achievement list. It's not a terrible thing to ask. It's borderline Peaches to me.
Yeah, same. I feel
personally, you know, personally, I'm just saying. This next one's full Peaches for me. Can we use LV3s and G-pose outside of battle content?
They said technically it's not possible. Seriously, do you want everybody in Rogers, because I'm using Rogers as an example, do you want everybody just spamming fucking LB3?
But luckily it's in G-pose, so it's like, it's not like nobody else will see it.
But still,
I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I'm not in G-pose.
But how many people are going to use this? Like
anyone who uses G-pose.
Which is a sizable part of the population.
Yeah, it's still Peaches to me.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's it.
Sometimes Sometimes you can use G-pose while you're waiting for Ultima Weapon to do his transition. You got a little bit of time for some G-pose in there.
Right.
That's it. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
The next one, I've heard Yoshida laugh at questions before. I think he may have laughed the most at this one.
Yeah.
Will we ever have legacy servers with patch 1.23b for players who never got to experience it?
Somewhere Bahamut's like, hold my beer. Hold my beer. I'll be right back.
Unbelievable. Right. Sorry, I'm just picking
Alrighty. Where do I have to go? Which server do I have to go to?
Yeah, I love the answer to this one. If we were to physically bring this server back, well, we can't, because we kind of already physically discarded the server that had 1.23b on it. So we'd have to build a new one, and we're not gonna do that. I imagine you can I get a quick Photoshop job of the scene from The Office with the fucking fax machine or whatever it was, and it's just, and then somebody just puts text over it that says 1.0 servers, and then it's Yoshida, then put Yoshida's face and I don't know who else's face would we want to put on that. We'll put Koji's face on one of them. We'll put
you have to put Bahamut in there because
you put Bahamut's, yeah, you'll put Bahamut's face on one of the, yeah, just put some face, just do that. Somebody do that real quick, tweet it at us.
Wolf, please. Wolf.
Yeah, I think because that pretty much is in my head how this happened. You know, and Yoshi says as long as he's in charge, they're never doing it.
Good. Glad to hear that.
That's it. Maybe they'll incorporate some sort of experience that resembles those days for people at some point, but they're never gonna do a full like legacy server. Nope, not happening. Now, this last question I thought was actually more important than it seems, because on the surface it seems like a Peaches question, but when you dig deeper, you read between the lines, you find a true intellectual.
Go on.
Any plans to allow players to share houses with their alternate characters, and it's being worked on.
This is tricky. I really feel like this is tricky. How would it work? How would it work? How would it affect housing in general?
That's the question I have. Because here's the thing. One of the biggest requests people have had over the years with housing availability is that they make housing account-wide per server. You can have one house per account per server. So if you have like characters across all the servers, you could still theoretically have a shit ton of houses. I feel like they didn't say any of this, so this is just me like kind of going full conspiracy theory on it. I feel like if they were to properly get this in place, and it would be the equivalent of the house registering server wide, at that point I feel like it'd be time to finally incorporate the one house per account per server rule. The only problem is I don't think they could have any authority or any sort of easy way of taking away the houses that are already owned by multiple characters on an account.
True.
So it would only affect future housing. But when I saw that, and I wonder if that's why they're working on it.
But then again, like even going further beyond just the housing, just the plot, furnishings, items, goes back to the whole Mog Station, account wide thing. Like there are several tiers to this question beyond like the initial question. So I feel like this is a very loaded question.
It is. I mean, you have to remember they already made changes to the way that housing works with your accounts, and we already know that they couldn't they had to grandfather in the people who already own multiple houses. Like they already have something like what I'm describing in place. But I'm wondering if there's another step that's being taken because of this question, with them working on this exact feature to at least discourage it further in some way. I don't know. All I know is I saw that and I was like, wonder if they're still trying to fix the housing debacle and this is part of it. But I don't think they'll ever go back and be like, if you have too many houses on one account, then we'll ask you to select it. Like, they'll never do that. It'll never happen.
No.
So I guess that means we just need Ishgard housing. I guess that's all that means. I guess. It's just the way I'm reading it.
So we get to the FanFest part of the live letter. Yay.
Damn right, yay.
All right. Yes.
Fucking Cloudbite, man.
Okay. For that, we already know the dates. Now before, we did, like I was about to get ahead. Yes. So the items that we are getting. The bonus items for North America, and I guess all around, since you can get digital tickets.
No, that's one of the things we'll talk about. There ain't no digital tickets, Sly. That's one of the things we're going to talk about.
Quote unquote.
You mean quote unquote? There's no quoting. There's quoting. There is indeed quoting.
You get the cloud bike. It's real. It exists. And you get 3 different minions for each event. Last year, it was FF10 minions. What are we thinking?
7 Final Fantasy 7 minions. We don't even need to talk about it. It's Final Fantasy 7 minions.
No tactics. That's what.
Nope. No? It's gonna be fucking 7 minions.
No 8.
And here's the worst thing. You know what happens like 2 months before this thing? Patch 4.4. Making me more and more afraid they will have a Sephiroth in there that I really don't want to see.
I mean,
Just
we got all those 10 minions. We didn't get a fucking shoe puff. I still want my fucking shoe puff.
But we weren't expecting anything along those lines back then. People are kind of already playing the anticipation role with the way Omega's been working out, so it's a little bit different of a story. Little bit.
Where the fuck is my shoe puff, Square Enix? Please.
I don't know. Just keep asking.
Rides the shoe puff.
Just keep asking.
Rides the shoe puff.
You can be the guy who asks that every time, and you can hang out with the guy who asks about Ishgard housing every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You guys can hang out. You get along great.
So the each fan fest will be streamed for all regions for the freeze. You do not have to buy a digital ticket. You can watch pretty much all the stage events except for the concerts. Like, you have to be there to see the concerts.
Yeah, there's no option to buy a digital ticket to view the concerts. Concerts will be strictly in person. So sorry, but I mean, at least the big thing is most people paid for the live stream for 3 reasons before. One was for the digital items. One was for the opening keynote, and the other was for the concerts. The opening keynote is literally like the expansion announcement and all the news, and people had to pay for that before. No more.
Right. No.
So that's good news. The concert thing kind of sucks, but I mean, concerts are cool and all, but you know what? If you really want to hear the music that we get at the concerts, luckily you can buy this album right here.
Oh, fuck you!
And you can get all the primals that you get: Primal Judgment, Through the Maelstrom, Oblivion, Thunder Rolls, Fallen Angel, Under the Weight, Heroes, Unbending Steel, Unbreakable, Revenge Twofold, Fiend, Imagination, Metal, Exponential Entropy, Metal, the Brute Justice mode version, and then there's a fucking sticker on top of the rest of the names because it's still in the plastic.
Got a fucking Primals album. Oh, okay.
Mel bought it for me at E3. I came home and it was here, so
yeah.
I'm just saying. There's a sticker here. I gotta just crack it open. You guys want to know the rest of the songs that are on here, right? I'm sure you do. So let's crack this sucker open right now, so that way I can give you the information that you're looking for right now. Let's see. But luckily, I mean, all these tracks, if you can't go to the concert and you just buy this real quick, then you'll be able to do it. So let's crack this. Let's crack this sucker open. There we go. And I'm just peeling the plastic off. Come on, you son of a bitch. There you go. Oh, what is this? Is this the item code for the thing right here? No? Is it? No? No? Just making sure. No? Okay. Just making sure. So then it'll also have Rise, Locust, and Oblivion, the Never Let It Go version. Sly, I don't even get paid for this. I'm just a fan.
Hooray!
There you go. And I mean,
are we done?
If you wanted anything else, if you wanted, I mean, you could also, if you enjoyed the music of Final Fantasy XIV, you probably also enjoyed Final Fantasy XV's music right here. Here's the Volume 2 of the original soundtrack as well. It's thick, boy. Look at that. Right there. All right, Sly, don't worry, I'm done. Unless you,
sure?
Do you want to fight me? After all that, do you want to fight me? Because I can fight you with this Fenrir Keyblade keychain that we got right here.
Keep going. He's still going. He's still going. Okay, alrighty.
All right, there we go.
Alrighty.
I'm just.
You good? Are you good?
I'm good, dude.
Are you good flexing your merch penis right now? Are you really good?
Dude, honestly, I'm perfectly fine right now, Sly. I am perfectly fine right now. Because I'm just in a good mood. Sly, do you know why I'm in a good mood?
Holy shit, he has more.
Because I beat Tsukiyomi. So, I'm in a great mood.
Why don't you show him the fucking Code Vein shirt you got while you're at it? Sure.
I actually picked that one up. I picked that one up first by accident, actually. This is a non-paid advertisement. I beat redacted. Dude, they need a Construct 7 one that says I beat math. Or I know prime numbers.
I know prime numbers. I can do math.
There you go. Somebody make that. I'm wearing the Raul one right now, so this one's fan made.
They need a shirt for all the people who cleared Ultimate that says I'm woke.
I beat woke.
I'm woke. Yeah. I stay woke. Hashtag stay woke. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, for like that's all the shit you're gonna get, and Mike showed off his merch peen. For North America, tickets go on sale for FanFest July 10th. Mark it on your calendar because tickets go quick. They go quick.
Yeah, they do.
Mark it on your calendar. Like, how long did it take for tickets to sell out? Like, what?
I think it took an hour, but I think also a lot of people like had errors with their checkout, and then there were some people who like never completed checkout, so like tickets, like a second wave went on sale for like people who didn't complete their purchases from the first time.
Right.
So there was definitely more than one opportunity for people to get tickets last time, but it wasn't intended that way. It just played out that way. So
it might not play out this way, like that way this year. Just be mindful. So just mark it on your calendar. Like, take a day off if you need to. If you can't, keep an eye on everything. Like, I'm pretty sure they'll let you know in advance what time. They're going to let us know in advance what time the tickets are going on sale. So, be mindful. Be vigilant. Stay vigilant.
July 10th.
July 10th.
Is there? I think they posted the time of day on the Lodestone. Let me check. Let's see. Tickets for FanFest in Las Vegas. There's
12 p.m. PST.
I'm looking Sly.
No,
and they're also doing. I think they're doing the thing where you need to be a subscriber in order to go. Like North American, you need to be a subscriber between January 1st and June 22nd to be eligible to purchase tickets. So if you have not been subbed at some point during that time frame, you are not eligible, my friend.
Sorry.
Then 12 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah,
that is correct.
Yep.
So good luck.
So 3 p.m. Eastern.
And if you're in Japan and you want to go, then they're even going to be selling a tour of the FanFest for people in Japan via the Nippon Travel Agency. Why doesn't America get cool things like that?
Yeah, but seriously, why would you? We're first. Because
they want to go. They want to fucking visit America and come to a FanFest, Sly.
I don't get anything.
See the good old Rio Hotel and Casino.
Woo! Gambling. Oh boy.
There you go. Dude, I want to go to Japan. Can we get? I know they don't do that. Can we listen?
Yeah, can we get tours for Japan? Yeah, I'd be down for that, please.
Can we just work that out in reverse, please?
Let's make that happen.
Do it. So.
Yeah.
So if you're in Japan and you're gonna do that thing, then I'll see you there.
Okay.
See you at North. I'll be there. Will you be there?
I won't be there.
Gonna have Das Boot.
Das Boot.
You gonna have Das Boot?
Das Boot.
Yeah, Das Boot. Boot full of beer, Sly.
No.
Why not?
Probably not.
That went from a hard no to a probably not really quick.
Probably not. I'm counting calories and shit. Right? Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, while we're there, one of the events we'll have is the Feast Regional Championships.
You can handle this one. I'm good.
No, I'm done. That's all. That was the whole announcement.
Does it? You're not gonna go into detail. You're not gonna.
I mean, there'll be some preliminaries in July, and then semifinals, and then finals are going to be at FanFest, and they'll fly out the finalists to FanFest. They'll pay for everything, and you can win a prize.
Congratulations, Rum Raisin. Let me just go ahead and congratulate you. Good job. Good job. See you at FanFest.
Sounds like somebody's run into the wrong kind of ice cream in the Feast occasionally. You got your ass
congratulations.
Kicked? Got your ass kicked by some ice cream over there, Sly? You lactose intolerant?
Yeah, pretty much. Can't take the ice cream.
Yeah, can't eat the ice cream. Makes poo poo. That's it. But they're gonna have the tournament there, and good luck to those participating, because I don't really have much to add to that.
Or congratulations already, because like we know, because like really, congratulations again, I'm raising. Congratulations. See you at FanFest.
I'm more of a Rocky Road kind of guy, but you know that's fine.
Yeah.
Some chocolate chip cookie dough flavor. I'm also kind of more of a froyo guy, so I'll get the chocolate and the peanut butter, and I'll stick some fucking some lychee in there, some shit. It's delicious. All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So now that we're off of that, Mike just showed the Primal soundtrack, but
and the shirt,
Stormblood sound, and the shirt. Yeah, forgot about the shirt. Hooray! Stormblood soundtrack goes on sale Mercade, July 4th. 105 songs, $49.99, includes a wind-up Tsukiyomi minion.
Doesn't say if it's character specific or if it's count bound. I'd have to imagine it's character specific, but it doesn't say. So,
right,
just wait. There's also a reminder of the red carpet. Oh, wait, there's more. There is.
There's more, but wait, there's more. Not only that, we're getting a fucking Estinian statue. Holy shit! Have you seen that shit? Oh my god!
Yeah, I saw it when it got leaked like a while ago. This was a completely 100% world premiere, never before leaked or seen before. Mostly not leaked, but totally not leaked. You can even rip his fucking head off.
Like, no!
So I just want to present something real quick. The Shiva statue was how much?
The Shiva statue was like, I want to say it was over 100, I think.
Let's wait for the chat to give us a price range real quick.
Yeah. Chat, if you bought the Shiva statue, how much was it? Because I know how much the Odin statue was.
In US dollars, please.
In US dollars, please.
$150. Okay. So it really was $60 for an emote. Because there's no emote with this one, and it's $90, so I'm just saying.
You can pre-order now until August 3rd for the Estinian statue, so go fucking get that shit. And then, but wait, there's even more. A creepy friggin' plushie.
No, that's not very nice. He looks like he gets out.
I always thought Spriggans were creepy.
He's $35 worth of creepy, apparently.
Yep. Scheduled for release on July 20th, $35. Includes an in-game stuffed Spriggan.
Hey Sly.
Yes.
How would you feel if the Estinian statue came with a Ring of Thorns emote?
Why? Just why, Mike?
I don't know. I read it in chat. I thought it was funny.
Are you gonna tell us? Are you gonna tell us whatever else we got rid of in?
Well, I know FS would prefer that the statue come with a Keen Flurry emote, but
yeah. There you go.
It's all right when we eventually get the Warrior of Light Warrior statue. Then warriors can hope that it comes with a Bloodbath emote.
There you go.
And everyone else won't have to buy it.
Right.
There you go. Perfect.
And the last announcement they had was to get your nuts late July. The companion app, Final Fantasy 14 companion app coming out late July. So get your nuts. Get
nuts. Ready to nut.
Get ready to nut late July.
Ready to nut.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could still be later than that though, because it may not get approved.
Right.
Google may not have the nuts to do it. I'm just saying.
I set myself up for this. I'm sorry.
I mean, literally, the community's been setting ourselves up for it since fucking ever.
Right.
So I'm just saying.
And that's pretty much the live letter.
It was.
That's it.
Yeah, that was it. It was the Q&A, it was the collaboration, and it was those announcements at the end. Which, honestly, it was about what I expected. The announcement at the end for the tickets was, I 100% expected that.
Right.
But, yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed that. We'll probably won't have another live letter for quite some time. So, just get ready for patch 4.35, 4.36, and the Monster Hunter collaboration. And get your nuts in a row. You just want somebody to nut. All right. I don't know why that song kept popping in my head. So I was like, I'm just gonna throw that out there.
So Mike, you've been at E3. You were able to ask some questions, weren't you?
Yeah, I got to speak with Yoshida and Soken. So funny story about that. Mm-hmm. So the night before, I was at dinner with a bunch of people from the Square Enix mobile team, and my buddy Eric and Mel were there, and they both speak Japanese, and they told me that it would be a good idea if I went into the interview and I said hello to him in Japanese. Now, not just hello, but like something more formal. And they specifically wanted me to say, it's good to see you again, or I haven't seen you in a while, in a very formal way. Which, if I can recall correctly, is Hisashiburi de na. So, I ignored them and didn't in any way make an effort. About 5 seconds before I went in, I ran into my buddy number 1, Alex, and I asked him for a third opinion. I said, would he like it if I went in there and said hello to him in Japanese? He said, yes. And so I had him very quickly teach me what I just said. And so when I went in, I said, it was when I went in, it was weird because he taught me, and then I went in and I was all ready to say hello to them in Japanese. And then they said hello to me in English, and it fucking threw me off, even though they do it every time. And I just said it like very abruptly. They're like, hello, good to see you. And I was like, Hisashiburi now. Like way too fast instead of just trying to say it like a word. So I was like, wow. Sorry, I just learned that 5 minutes ago. Yeah, so it was it's worth a shot.
Good job. Good job, Mike.
They apparently they did appreciate it. Apparently the effort was not wasted. It was just it was considered a very kind thing to do. So I'll have to carry that it sounded like shit forever, but at least they liked it.
Good.
But I did get to ask them some questions after that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
They asked you a question, though.
They asked me a lot of questions, oddly.
First question: have you slept?
To which I answered yes. To which I answered yes. I said I'd managed to get a little bit of sleep since Tuesday, and he said that he had seen the live streams, and he was basically like, when I am awake, you're there. And when I go to sleep, you're there.
You're there. You're there.
So it was pretty funny, but he was just like, he knows that I had been chugging away at Ultimate, so he wanted to make sure I was taking care of my health. I told him 6-7 hours of sleep a night because of my team schedule, and he said that it was good. He was worried about people's health because he knows that when they're hardcore going for world first like that there's very little sleep to be had. So he hopes that all of you who have been doing Prague and who did it last week and who Prague well have been sleeping.
You should probably go to sleep.
You can see me like rubbing my eyes as we're talking about sleep right now, and I'm like, yeah, that's a cool concept, I guess, for some people, And then we actually got to start a Q&A. I got to ask some questions for both Yoshida-san and Soken-san. So I went back and forth. See, I have a hard time coming up with questions for Soken.
Why?
Because I don't know shit about music. Like, I can basically just I asked what I consider the very generic Soken questions. And so, but he made them fun, luckily, and we'll get to those in a little bit. The first question I asked was if they expected Uwu to be defeated in 5 days, like that quickly, I suppose. And they said that that's difficult to calculate. Player skill is always improving, and there's always mechanics they don't know how people will do. He specifically said that about the Woken mechanic. He was like, we didn't know how long people were going to take to get to that and figure it out and get through it. And they were apparently very worried about
apparently
that
12 hours.
Well, we don't know about the people who were not streaming. We don't know. We don't know how quickly they progressed. But he said that they were insanely worried about that entire mechanic for a lot of reasons. But he said ultimately that ultimately, I like to use that word. That they just didn't want it to drag on for any longer than 2 weeks. They said the same thing back during Unending Coil, as long as it doesn't drag out for over 2 weeks, because then morale and excitement just plummet. And then I said after Gordius, yeah, I agree with that. After 2 weeks, morale definitely starts to plummet, looking at you, Manipulator. And then he said that Unending Coil took 11 days, this took 5. And that might make people think Ultima is easier, but he just thinks that it goes to show how skilled the players are and that he has a lot of respect for those players. They did do it, like, it was pretty quick. I mean, I expected less than a week. I did make that call, Hap Jesus. I did make that call.
There you go.
But still, it was... The World First team made mention that at least one of the days was a 21-hour... At least one or more of the days may have been 21-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the sleeping thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go to sleep. Unless you want World First, then don't go to sleep. Apparently. Then just don't. But then he asked me something, Sly.
What's that?
What did I think of the Woken mechanic, honestly?
What do you think of the Woken mechanic?
I thought it was genius. I loved it. I'm not kidding. This is my deadpan, dead serious, not bullshit face. And I said it to him looking like this too. I said, genius. And he said, he was like, whew. He was really worried I was gonna rail him for that one. It's like, thank you. He said that was the dev teams were worried that the players are gonna feel like they were cheated.
I mean, okay. After 12 hours, did you feel cheated?
Well, my first response was this. I heard about it, we tested it, we woke Garuda, and I leaned back in my chair, and I just went like this. I went, the last 12 hours of my life have been a lie. I yelled it a lot louder, but I was just, oh my god. It was all for nothing! But I was also like a little schoolgirl over it for like the next... however, like 30 minutes to an hour of how fucking awesome I thought it was. And he thought players were gonna like feel like it was cheap, that they were cheated, like they were lied to.
Nah.
That was a big
bamboozled,
concern.
hoodwinked.
Hoodwinked. Yeah, it doesn't matter what. The whole dev team was really concerned that there was gonna be a very negative reaction to discovering it. And so he was at least happy that when he spoke to me, I liked it. So that's one opinion. He was like, oh, thank goodness that you liked it. So, I mean, obviously I'm one person. That's not everyone, but I mean, at least I liked it. Now just how do they one up that in the future?
Exactly.
That's going to be a tough one. Then I asked Soken a question, and I just asked him how he felt to have his songs like in the game twice, kind of, with the normal version, the primals version. And he just said that the sound team wanted to do it, they tried it, and it worked, and they hope that people like it. But it's funny because you know this. If you would go to track 2 on the primals album right here, you would listen to the Garuda theme, and you would notice that at the beginning of the Garuda theme, Koji does this like soft rap where he's just kind of saying things, you know, Sly.
I feel like you are really trying to push this fucking... Go ahead.
No. I'm asking you a question. Well, then answer the fucking question.
I do know this.
Okay. Well, he actually thought that actually, it's not even track 2, by the way, so I even gave you the wrong track name. Which track was it? Let's see. No. Oh, there it is. Track 5. My bad. So, they were worried that if they put Koji's part in there, it's basically like 5 minutes of him just mocking the person, or it's like a minute of him just mocking the person. So they were afraid that people were gonna get really sick of that shit, because Koji does this laugh and goes ah ha ha ha, and every time you wipe, you'd have to hear him laughing in your fucking face. So they took that part out. I was hoping that the lyrics to that would be in here somewhere, but I don't see them. I see Thunder Rolls. I see Through the Maelstrom for Leviathan. I see Under the Weight. I see Fiend. Oh, no. I'm sorry. It's over here. He says, the sun sets and dark wings embrace a bloody moon. The screams of 1,000 souls on their knees, pleading for pleasure, for pain. Down from the mountains of madness and into the heat of the endless storm. An ill wind blows and ancient evil rises. And then he laughs in your fucking face. Aren't you glad he doesn't laugh in your face? Done? Sly, I'm just being thorough here.
You done with the product placement?
Are you sure? I'm just I'm not even doing the product placement anymore. I'm just reading the inside of the thing because it has the lyrics.
No, you're reading because it's there.
Because I have it and the lyrics are in here.
Exactly.
I want to see just how much
you say because I have it. Because I have it, you asshole.
Good point.
Smug as shit right now. Exactly.
Thank you, babe.
Hey.
Babe meaning Mel.
Thanks, Mel.
She bought me this.
Thanks, Mel.
Not Sly.
Exactly.
He's not babe. Trust me. Sorry, Sly. No flattery here.
Yeah, I know. I'll never be babe.
All right. No, I mean, you could be babe maybe one day, but not babe. Mel's babe. She's not babe. I could never bring myself to stoop that low and call her that. I have to use a fucking word. But anyway. So the next question I had was about Heaven on High. So yes. You and I have had this discussion before. We wondered if, because of the hardcore floors are coming out when it first releases, if they'll add any floors afterwards. He answered, no, these are all the floors.
Still, I think it kind of takes away from the thrill of, people soloing and having to get through so many fucking floors to get to 200 and having how many people solo? Like 2 right now? 3 maybe?
I think 3. I think there's been at least 3 at this point. Now, I would normally agree with you, Sly. But even though there's only going to be half the number of floors, he said that the reason why there's half the number, it's twofold. The one, they wanted people to get to the harder content faster. And 2, because the difficulty of 30 through 100 will be closer in its entirety to floors 180 to 200. So the challenge is much higher, much earlier, because their feedback was that most people only enjoyed the last 20 floors of Palace of the Dead, of the people who were specifically looking for the challenging content. Right. So they want that experience to be present for as many floors as possible this time. So expect to get shit on fast. If it wasn't for that statement, I would have agreed with you, because I was already saying, like, it's only 100 floors. It's half as much. Like, there's all the free floor clears with the primals and shit like that. So if the difficulty is 180 the whole time, that's gonna be a rough solo. So because the leveling process in the story happens in the first 30 floors, and then the next 70 are there to kick your ass and give you a dodo mount, which is good, because I like floors 180 plus. It's just that when you die there, you gotta put away a lot of time to get back, especially the people who have soloed it. So I'd like to point out, soloing from floor 1 to 200, you can assume it's approximately an hour per 10 floors. The first several sets go faster than that, but still, that is 20 hours down the drain every time you fucking wipe, pretty much.
Yep.
So, yeah, not gonna miss that. Not gonna miss that at all. Sly, what was one of your questions that you gave to me for them that I didn't use? Because I don't think I used any of your questions.
In the question, there were Koji questions, and then the Heaven on High questions we already knew. You answered that, so don't even worry about it.
I mean,
don't even worry about it.
Your last one was pretty. While Savage hasn't really included that, is there a chance to see mechanics akin to Woken in the Savage setting? That's not a bad question. Mechanics where you think you're doing the fight right, and then you have to go back and reorganize it. Old raids did that.
The way I think about it, not really more puzzle mechanics, but I mean, yeah, you could say that. God, it was really hard to describe.
Well, the way I like to think about it is like, I guess this isn't as severe of an example, but you think of like Twintanya's, like the OG Twintanya's, you know, the position of where you drop her necklaces, or the position where you drop the meteors and nail, like things like that were things that if you could maybe get through the early phase, but you'd have to revisit them. So that concept's not entirely foreign. So and I feel like last year we even had Savages that had something similar. Last expansion, I feel like maybe there were some that were like that. I don't know. Just I'm trying to think of ones that may have been like that more recently. But I don't think that was necessarily a bad one. That's not really a Koji question. It's like just mechanics that make you rethink your strategy after progressing a certain point in Savage style and Savage level content, not an Ultimate level content.
Right.
I don't think that was a bad question, Sly. I just didn't.
Exactly.
I only got 12 questions out here, man. I had so many more lined up. There's so much I can get done, man. So let's see. So then I asked Soken another question. I asked him how he finds inspiration after all these years, and he says it's the players. Every time he goes to an event and they cheer him on, he goes home and he's like, yeah! Oh, and video games. He also loves video games. I don't know if it was Fusion or if it was somebody else who told me they just saw Soken, like, pouring time into the Smash Brothers booth at E3. He was just like there. He was just in it. He's just like, like full on in the zone. Like, this is my moment. So he likes video games. Yoshida also says that the dev team likes to compete internally a lot. And Soken has to...
Yeah, that's what I'm reading right now.
Yeah, and then Soken has to make songs for these people who are competing to one-up each other. And he thinks that Soken probably draws some inspiration from that. And then Soken clears and says, also, 14 has a plot, makes it easier. Or makes it easier to find inspiration when you're putting music to certain events or certain characters. Man knows his music.
He does.
I can't.
Thus, you have his album.
You know, it's just so easy to find, you know, and purchase.
So, yeah. Next question you asked about Eureka.
Yes. I asked them about Pagos. How the hell are they going to do the weapon differently? Like, everyone literally just expects it's going to be more crystals, and then Snow Zuzu is going to drop something, and then we're going to be done. I know that's what I thought.
Can we get rid of that name, please?
What, Snow Zuzu?
Yes.
Okay, fine. You're right.
Pazuzu.
You're right. I normally call him Snoo Snoo.
That one too.
Death by Snoo Snoo.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And they said that, yeah, it's going to be different. They just don't want to tell people much about how it's going to be different because they want them to experience it firsthand. But he did say that specifically the spawning of the notorious monsters should be something that players expect to be pretty different. The spawning conditions for the NMs should vary a little bit more in Pagos. And he's really looking forward to players figuring out how to spawn NMs in Pagos. I don't know what the hell that means, because we know we have that new treasure feature. So I'm curious if it just means more weather-related stuff, more specific, like maybe... I think what they want to maybe avoid is kill one type of enemy in one specific area, and then that's it. And as opposed to like chaining certain things you need to do together in order to spawn a notorious monster. I don't know. Right. We will have to wait and see, because they did say there'd be things like more verticality. They did have the treasure hunting that's going to be in there. So I don't know. I don't know what the plan is, but we should expect it to be different, which is a good thing. Because it sounds like they may want to try to break up those notorious monster trains, or at least make people...
You're never going to be able to do that. I'm sorry. Like, no matter... No, you're not going to break up the train, ever.
You ain't going to break up the train. We'll see.
So you had another question for Soken in regards to...
I really tried to go back and forth. I really wanted to respect... If Soken's going to be sitting there for now, like, I had a million questions for Yoshida, but I was like, I'm going to make questions for Soken. He's taking his time right now.
Are there any tracks in the game you'd like to do a Primal's rendition of that you haven't been able to do yet?
He had a really tough time with this one. This took maybe like 3 minutes to get an answer out of him. He's just like, oh, like he's like, oh, I just have to pick one. And then finally he goes Tsukiyomi. Says he very much wants to.
That's weird for me because that's one I really like, especially the first two parts of it. I don't want him to touch, but yeah, the last one, sure. The final part of Tsukiyomi, absolutely. Just don't touch the first two parts.
He really wants to do a Tsukiyomi one, even though like the song itself just released. That's one he really wants to do a band rendition of for the Primals. He asked me what I wanted. I said Byakko. Personally, that's what I want. What do you want, Sly? The good news is, Sly, is that I don't have to do the air phase when they're playing the song.
That is true. That's true.
There you go. Which one do you want, Sly?
Which one do I want?
I can tell you the list of ones that you can't pick.
Okay.
I mean, no. If you pick one, I'll tell you if they already have it.
I'm trying to think of when I heard. God, I don't know.
You can't pick Locust, Rise, Metal, Exponential Entropy, Metal, the Brute Justice Mode, Imagination, Fiend, Revenge Twofold, Unbreakable, Unbending Steel, Heroes, Under the Weight, Fallen Angel, Thunder Rolls, Oblivion, Through the Maelstrom, or Primal Judgment.
There's not much left in, is there?
There's a few things. I don't see Shinryu on here. I don't see Shinryu, Susanoo, Luxray.
Wait. Which part of Shinryu? I'm trying to remember the last part of Shinryu. I can't remember it for the life of me. The first part is usually the best part of Shinryu, and that's the one I like. And I don't think he'll do a rendition of that.
I didn't think he'd do a rendition of Thornton or Ultima. Good King Mogomog's not on here either.
No.
Sly's face at even the thought of it.
No. And that'll probably be like a Koji bonus track on another Primals album.
Good King Mogomog, good King Mog, Lord of all the... Oh yeah, where's the Papaya remix? Dude, it could be like it could be like heavy metal.
Y'all are asking too goddamn much. A Papaya remix?
There you go. That's
somebody clip that. That's please.
That's the fucking Primals version of it. Get Koji to do that shit. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be like scream rock or scream metal or some shit like that.
Right. Just
get Koji to do it. Send that to Soken. All right. Is that your new sub sound now, Sly? or when I come into a stream and you play the fucking sound. It's that instead.
Yeah, definitely gonna give Mr. Happy a follow.
Now I have you doing it. Now I have a sound clip of you doing it too.
Yeah, thanks.
Excellent.
Thanks.
That was the goal.
Good.
I asked him if he could perform those at FanFest, and he just said he wasn't going to say anything else. Just that if they do another performance at FanFest, they will prepare new tracks. So please look forward to it. Hi. There you go. It's a good thing Burn is.
Yes. Mike, you actually asked it. You actually asked the question. Oh my God. Go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
Are you sure you don't want to read it, Sly?
No, go ahead. I want you to have this one.
I asked about rank decay. That's it. I just asked about rank decay for PvP. And all he said is that they've already made some changes that like maybe rank decay wouldn't necessarily help as much because of the way you accumulate points nowadays. But he mostly wants to see how the regional championships play out instead of just adding rank decay. It's been a discussion they've been having for a really long time. And one of their big fears is forcing people to play, which can be very unfun at times. But he asked me what I thought about it. And I actually came back honestly, like I don't really PvP much. I think at best it helps maybe with the higher ranks. Maybe people feel a little bit more inclined to fight for the top 100. But it doesn't really help with participation after the first couple of weeks, especially for the early ranks. So, for people who don't play during peak hours, after a couple of weeks, it's like, So, I think at best it helps with the top 100, if at all. So, that was pretty much what my response to his question was. And he just said, they're always looking to improve matchmaking, but they want to see if the regional championships like motivates people or changes, or with the point accumulation system, if it's going to be better now, and maybe they don't need to consider something like that. So I tried. I wanted to throw a PvP question in there. It's just you know, that's it. That's what we got. If Burn was here, he would have fucking lit a cigarette already.
Pretty much.
I'm just saying. I feel like he's watching now and smoking from hearing,
smoking
from hearing the question, pretty much.
Well, do we have any more PvP questions? Keep the
no. There's no other
going.
PvP
Smoke
questions.
You got him.
There's no other PvP questions. Okay. You can put the cigarette out now. There you go.
Okay.
Go eat a steak. You'll be okay. Okay. Yeah. So next one was for Soken, and this was a callback to a question I actually asked Koji some months ago. I asked Koji how he got looped into actually doing the rap for Rise, and so I decided to get Soken's side of that story.
Okay.
And Soken was actually pretty serious about most of the answer. He's just like, Koji, he really didn't want to do it. He approached him with the idea, and this is Koji told me he said this in response. So this is so far we've got consistency in the story. He said that Koji responded to the request with, "I'm a middle-aged white man living in Japan, and you want me to rap?" It's fair. I'd say it's a fair thing to say in response to the request.
Yeah.
And Soken just said, "Yes." But Soken said it wasn't a joke. He's like, I know Koji's the right person to do this. Apparently, and we've heard this from them before. They worked. Soken worked on the tracks for a game called Mario Hoops 3-on-3. And because Square Enix developed it, but it was published by Nintendo. And for one of the tracks, he had Koji do a rap. So he knew when he needed someone to do the Rise rap, it had to be Koji. However, he said it didn't go that great. He said that in the studio, it wasn't good. And this was my favorite part, because after he said that, so we had
but he does it on stage so well, though. That's the thing. On stage, it's like either that or we're just extremely hype or extremely drunk.
No, Soken says he actually thinks the live performance he did really, really well on. But for the studio, so this was pretty funny. So the room was mostly quiet, other than me asking questions and then Aimee doing the translations between Yoshida Soken-san and myself. And so when he was responding to this, she says the first thing, it didn't sound really good, and then he says something else, and she translates it to me. What she translated to me was, and this is like word for word, she looks me dead in the face and translates what he said and says, "Let me just say that for that one, I really had to science the shit out of it." Now, Matt Hilton was in the room, and he was just off in the corner, like, doing his own thing. And all of a sudden, I just hear from just the other end of the room, I just hear Matt go, he just starts laughing from the, like, after going from just dead quiet the whole time to just laughing. So,
sounds about right.
I just like that. She just looked at me just dead on, just said, really had to science the shit out of that one. And it was funny. And then I told him how Koji said when he was practicing for Rise Live, he was like doing it on his daily commute, and the locals would see him like walking through the park, going like 30,000 goblins goes help the goblins, and then they'd just be like crazy gaijin. So he had to deal with that for months while he was practicing. I think he said
I can imagine the anime meme of like, you know, children staring and like their parents like just. Don't look at him. No.
Pretty much with the addition of crazy gaijin in there.
Yeah.
So Soken thought that was great. He didn't know that part of it. So that was he gets to go home with that information now. The next few questions were kind of just like more not really old. No, I had a Mog Station question, 2 Mog Station questions, and 2 Ultimate questions. So one of these got asked by somebody who wasn't me, and I remember writing it down. I don't think it was an Elysium member, but they asked, why are they going to handle Ultimate going into expansions? Like, Unending Coil is currently designed for like the way the game is now, but like, you know how when we got Stormblood, there was a bunch of like skill changes and shit like that. Yeah, there was some concern that Ultimate would be maybe unbalanced with skill changes going into like level 80 cap or something like that. And it might not be clearable, or it might be more difficult than intended, or it might be like way less difficult than intended, or something like that. So I just asked, has there been any thought about, you know, if these encounters, if they can stand up to the test of time when more changes are made to the game?
Now, before you give your like his answer, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't do enough unsync stuff. All I know is when I did the minimum item level 50 primals, that felt like shit. Because my job just feels like between 50 and 70, I would say Monk doesn't change a lot, but it feels fucking complete at 70. And it feels really incomplete doing it at level 50. And I know for a lot of jobs, especially after expansions, like all their major job mechanics are introduced like post whatever the previous expansion's level content was. So there's a big concern there with like actually completing content and shit like that. So I don't know, but all I know is it does not feel great to go back and do old like minimum item level stuff just because of skills. So that plays a role for me at the very least. They'd have to do the thing where we can use all the skills, but they're nerfed to fuck in like low level shit just so it doesn't feel like shit, you know? They'd have to, otherwise just hate it. They said they're not really giving that much thought because they just want to make the content for now. They want to focus on how people interact with it now. And maybe at some point later, they need to have a discussion about how it feels later. He even suggested maybe they have to take the fight down and retune it, you know, and then re-release it, but still at the previous like item level thing. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think would either be the solution, or do you think it's not a problem?
Honestly, I think right now it's a non-issue. I mean, I say it's a non-issue. It's a non-issue right now. It's a non-issue right now, meaning either you future-proof it now, which is really, really hard to do, or just don't even worry about it.
Yeah, you can't worry about it now. I was just wondering if they had given it any thought because, you know, Ultimate, everyone's wondering, I mean, do they even keep level sync? I mean, that's a discussion they might have to have too. Like, what if when level 80 comes around, then they unlevel sync it, you know? They said that they would leave it item level synced, but, I mean, when I asked him this, he said, you know, maybe that's a discussion we have to have. I don't know yet. So, if it's, like, unclearable, if we leave it level synced, then it's a pretty big problem, you know? So, I don't know. We'll have to see, but I don't know. Like I'd say the hardest fight to do now when you're like level synced is probably Brute Justice. It sucks.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It sucks doing A8 Savage right now with the way that jobs are balanced around level 60. It is shit. So that's probably the most accurate example of a fight that did not stand the minimum item level test of time. So
whereas like A12 is like so much easier. I wouldn't say so much easier, but still relatively easier in comparison to
A12 is just a lot easier, period. Creator itself is a lot easier, period. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it actually pans out. And then this was kind of like a Soken Yoshi P combination question because I think they both needed to answer it. And I asked if we could get Primal's band renditions as orchestrion roles in game. And they just said they haven't talked about it, but yeah, they could do it. That was it. That was the end of the answer. I had to press them for more information on that because they were just like, yeah, we haven't discussed it, but we can do it.
Now, okay, all right. Now, before you go into that, because I feel like that's crossing the realm of Mog Station territory.
That was my follow-up question.
Do you think it's going to be a Mog Station thing if they even think about doing that, or is it just outright, you know, they put like since they put, you know, rendition like Primal's renditions in Ultimate, it's in the game, it's fair game.
Yeah, so when I asked them, I specifically said, would it have to be paid content through the Mog Station, or could it just be placed in the game directly? I specifically was like, I don't know if it's like, because you guys sell it as an album, you guys sell it on iTunes, all of a sudden you put it in the game. I don't know if that impacts, if those things impact each other. And so I was great because all they did is they just shrugged and they went, I mean, technically speaking, it's our music. So no, we can just do whatever we want. You know, it's like the albums, the game, whatever. We can do whatever we want. Really? We'll have to talk about it, but like, no, they don't have to be Mog Station items. You just put them in a game. So, you know, that was it. They were just, that was a super straightforward answer. And they literally both went like this. It was like, for some reason, when I did it, though, Soken started cracking up. Because I went like that too. After they did it, I just did it too. I was like, and then Soken goes, he literally like did this exact laugh. He was in his chair. He'd just done this. He went, like lean forward. It's just like, oh, halfway over the table. It's just as soon as I went like this. I don't know. He was going mad with power. I think he was trying to mimic Koji's laugh in the Garuda theme. Yeah, so either that or he just wanted to see a white guy shrug. I don't know. He just thought it looked funny. I don't know.
Which isn't too hard. I mean, really.
I guess. Yeah. Now, I also asked about the Mog Station picking up pace in its releases. I was like, it feels like we're getting a lot more Mog Station items than we normally do recently. So he didn't even answer the question I gave him. I asked him how is it determined which items will be placed in Mog Station, but he focused on that picked up pace comment. And he was like, well, they're on a set schedule, but like China and Korea have their own items. And, you know, they pay us to create these items for their region to supplement the game itself. And then the global players find out and they go, I want it. So then they're like, okay, well, if enough players want it, we put it in the game. So it feels like it's an accelerated pace, but their releases are on schedule. It's just they have all these items coming over from the other regions by player request. So it just feels like the pace is like really picked up as of late. So yeah, I mean, that was all. That's all he said. He didn't answer the actual question, which was about how it's determined. But that's it. It's on a schedule, and then they bring them over from other regions too. That was it. It was pretty straightforward. And then the last question, unfortunately, this is where I was over. I had so many more questions. So Elysium wrote me a bunch of questions.
This was definitely, I feel like this was either a you or Elysium question, and it feels more Elysium. Yeah, because we talked about this earlier. We talked about this like early in the week on Tuesday. I'll let you go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, so Balana from My Static was the one who gave me this question. This is something that we talked about on State of the Realm, and we were wondering about waking up Garuda. You can wake her up early, you can wake her up late. She's the only primal you can do that on. So I asked, was it intentional was it intended to wake her up early, or did you intend that players have a choice to wake her up early or wake her up late? And apparently it was really weird, like trying to translate the Woken buff to Japanese, because we had to go back and forth a few times to get this answer. And finally he goes, oh, no, it was never intended that players do it that way. They wanted you to wake Garuda up the first opportunity that you got and do the rest of the phase with Woken Garuda. He did, however, say that they would not in any way look to adjust it. He said that there are groups that already won. They don't want to invalidate their efforts. They worked really hard. And if they do that, then people are going to go, well, you didn't world first the buffed version, you know. But the second is really that they think that it kind of, it almost shows like good game design in a way where players discovered the strategy. A lot of the fights designed to be done in a very strict way, but the players found a way to handle one of the major mechanics in a different way without exploiting anything, without breaking the encounter, progressing through the fight with all the required flags to get through to the final phase. You know, Garuda still has to get woken, and it might be a bit easier than waking her up early on, but the Garuda phase its entirety, you know, you get this choice of approach. And he thinks that this is one of those cases where player creativity is a boon and not necessarily something that inhibits the experience of the fight itself.
Now let me ask you, what do you prefer? Because in terms of like fight design, when you have like a set dance, so to speak, I prefer choice. I prefer like having a choice when it comes to doing a certain mechanic a certain way, rather than, you know, it's one set strat that everybody should have to do. So what do you?
I prefer choice, but I prefer it in a way that doesn't take away from the fight itself. So I'm someone who would prefer that Garuda be hard forced to wake early versus having the choice of doing it early or late, because the intended way of doing that Garuda phase, it actually isn't that much different, but it's different enough to the point where it would have been a considerably greater challenge And so skipping having to do feather lances and line up for the stacked damage tank buster and to do the tether separately. It takes something away from the encounter, but I do agree with him that if you do present that option of a choice because of the way they did it, and that you can do either or, it's pretty good to have it designed that way. It'd be really shitty if it was just like a bug or a glitch or something that was unintended, that is an interaction that's not supposed to work a certain way, but you still meet the exact requirements. And so I wouldn't really fight this. I would prefer the Gerudo was hard locked to be done early.
That's fair.
He also said that that's not going to save you with Titan and Ifrit, so good luck. Because those guys get one shot. I would have loved to have asked him. I would have loved to have asked him about the jails, about the nails. I think what I'd rather do is I'd rather actually do an interview straight up with Mr. Ozma and get his perspective on these things as well. So I might try to arrange that, see if we can get some just straight up like ultimate Q&A. I want to see if we can make that happen, Sly. So if you got questions for Ozma, Mr. Ozma, I'm gonna see if I can make that happen, Sly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Send those. If you have ideas, just send them my way, and I'll throw them in there. I'm gonna send you
like a bunch of questions. Some of them might be Ultimate Peaches questions. Ultimate Peaches
questions. Okay, I never thought I'd hear that.
Sift through the peaches. There will be some good ones in there. Trust me. I'm just gonna ask everything I think I can think imaginable about.
Okay.
So it's like
acceptable. Acceptable. And then that was it. That was all the time I had with them. I might see if I can get a few more questions answered since we only had that hour, but it's something that may not happen for several more weeks. They said thank you, and they said congratulations to Elysium, since they know I'm in Elysium. They said congratulations to those in Elysium who have killed it so far, and get some sleep. He's really all about this sleep thing. He said it during the live letter. He said it during this interview. He said it at the beginning and the end of the interview. He's like, I think Yoshi P doesn't get to sleep, so the idea of other people sleeping is almost like euphoric for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna.
He lives vicariously through us because he rarely sleeps himself. So yeah.
Yeah, that man never sleeps. He drinks a lot, but he never sleeps.
Yeah, never does. He needs it.
Ever sleeps. I promise. Okay, so, but I think that's everything. We covered FanFest, when that goes on sale, all that stuff. So I think we got everything for today, Sly.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to see if I can arrange for some of the World Progging Raiders to come on for next week's show. Sound good, Sly?
Yeah.
I don't think they want you to talk to them like that.
No. I have one request. Please just consider it.
I'm not bringing full.
God damn it. One day.
How did you not think I was just going to... Why did you
give me one thing? One thing.
Did you not just think I knew that was what the question was going to be? Hello?
One thing. One thing. Just one. Just one. My birthday's coming up. Can it be an early birthday?
If you don't want fold as your fucking birthday present, that's just dicks everywhere. And I know you're into it, but still.
Okay.
You want those dick chariots.
You want memes.
You want memes. Dick chariots. I know how this works.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right.
I'm just saying. It's not happening.
All right.
Okay. So anyway, that's going to be a wrap for the show this week then, Sly. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Nothing else to add? Just making sure. Giving you the opportunity to speak your mind right here. Anything else that isn't the initial request?
I've spoken my mind. It got vetoed.
Okay. Yeah. No. Big veto. Okay. Big veto. I do the inviting. So yeah. Big veto. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like my cousin's name. My cousin's name is Frank. That's a lie. But anyway. On that note, then I think we can do sponsor list, then sign offs, then wrap things up for the day. Then yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, so before we wrap up, ladies and gentlemen, and I go to dinner, which I'll have to sit in an hour of LA traffic to get to.
Yay!
Okay. So we got to thank our sponsors for the show. Of course, SteelSeries we mentioned at the top. Don't forget on the YouTube side to check out the description for the Gleam And also, don't forget, if you were watching this and you were the winner, 79 James, send me an email. I'll send you an email regardless, so just keep that in mind. But we have to thank our sponsors over on Patreon as well. They've been supporting us through #demonetized. And so I have a very lengthy list of names that I like to thank. You've heard them already once this week, and you are going to hear them again. First off, we have our Patron of Light, who has gone above and beyond to support the show. We have Khuja Cross from the Jenova server. Hold on, one of the scenes was messed up where I have the picture, so I was like,
I was wondering what happened. Like you said Khuja Cross, and you got
Khuja Cross really... in the Advent FC on Jenova, because the picture was there, but it was like off center for some reason, just creeping on Garuda. I don't know if Garuda's creeping on you or not. All I know is I see this picture and I see the filters, and I'm like, yo, reminds me of every time I use the Tritanopian color, that color thing. It reminds me of the Shadow Realm. So, dude, imagine if I kill Ultimate with the colorblind thing on, and then I post the kill video.
Right. There's gonna be the weirdest kill video we've ever seen.
Dude, we're gonna need.
We'll have to adjust for it.
We're gonna need so many Yu-Gi-Oh fucking like audio clips over that. Like all ACT triggers need to be. Like for example, when you get jailed, it needs to say, "I've activated my trap card." That needs to be the jail ACT thing. I don't even have the ACT thing installed, so that's a lot of effort.
Well, you don't have the triggers installed?
I don't use triggers for anything because I'm not a bitch.
Yeah. Excuse me. Oh wow! You hear that, everyone? Excuse me. Okay. All right. Go on. All right.
Yeah. So thank you, Khuja Cross and the Advent FC on Jenova for being the patron of light. Your patronage is much appreciated. Thank you for the continued support. Moving on, we have our list of standard and premium sponsors. We have our standard sponsors of Dom, Asuka Wake from the Jenova server. We have Lamilia Nella of Midgard Stormer. We have Serren the Avalanche family on Malboro. We have Johnny Yatsu and Nyrek of Clan Vizsla. Kifka and the Grey Eagles on Exodus. Dark Graver, Katayoshi, Skia Symphonia, Rah Xephon, Rylanator, Westaur the Purple Warrior, Lexxie Valentine, Mantaru the Rivivus FC from Zodiark, Sour Cream and Tribes from Jenova, Rynoet Chikara, Goetia Valefar of Siren, Hersh Fersh of Faerie, Phoenix Down FC on Goblin, and Serren from Zodiark. We have our premium sponsors, Westaur on Coral, Sathal, Sarah Frost from Behemoth. Hey, that's your town. Diablo, Holy Tabasco, Red Thorn, Asura, Kurenai Oni, Askin Hawk, Oscar, Crash 015, Mustang, and the Serenity FC on Ultros, Kat Kazuma, Serial Kira and the Reckless Tea Party on Cactar, Valestra of Fanfrit, Knock Quarters from Excalibur, Corvus Moonscar, Private Mikey, Spike, Nadia and Kirasame, Rudy Rudiger, Ten Colossus, Killer Hackman, Raul Jr., Remiel Gaming, and Kiltastic Jones. So thank you to
Thank you, everyone, for your support.
Chat's bringing up the fact that Xeno's got a trigger. Dude, Xeno's got a trigger that's just there to upset the chat. It's every time Trick Attack goes off, it says like Trick Attack, Volcano, Bone Storm. Like it takes half the duration. It takes half the fucking duration of Trick Attack to say the whole thing. That is only there so when people hear it for the first time and like, what the fuck was that?
I just really want to make a ACT trigger for when people get like their woken stacks, and then like Childish Gambino comes and just says "Stay woke." That's all. That's the only one I want, really. That's all I want.
There you go. They just need a stay woke one. Fucking Volcano Bone Storm one. I heard, and I'm like, why? I'm sorry. It's Trick Attack, blow shit up Volcano, but it literally Trick Attack lasts 10 seconds. That trigger takes 5 of them. And it says it in the shitty, like, default Trick Attack, blow shit up, Volcano Bone Storm.
I've heard the Tron one. Run, motherfuckers. Yeah, I've heard the Tron one. That was another good one too.
Oh my god, that one! I heard it and I was just like, come on. Okay, Sly, why don't we wrap this up so I can go put some food in my belly. So Sly, where can they find you at so you can get some wings?
Yeah. You can find me at twitch.tv/Slyh, aka Greyfox, Twitter at Slythefox, Instagram at Slyh, aka Greyfox07, YouTube.com/The Velvet Room. I've been really fucking lazy and I forgot to put last week's SMT Saturday, but it is going up since we started Soul Hackers. The complete Strange Journey Redux is on the YubTubs and all that. Other than that, continuing Soul Hackers for SMT Saturdays. Started Disgaea yesterday. Daddy's first Disgaea. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, yeah. So that's gonna be a regular thing. But Happy, besides dinner tonight, where can everybody find you?
I hope everyone can't find me at dinner. I would never get to eat. I'd just be high-fiving people the whole time. There you go.
Yeah.
You can find me, Mr. Happy127, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. So some things that are coming up. For one, the Octopath demo is out on Switch. It has a 3-hour time limit for the save file, and you only get one save file on the demo. However, as long as you keep overwriting the save file and you don't use it permanently, you can just go through all of the individual stories just to see them, to pick one that you want to actually start as. So I've already started recording YouTube videos for that. I went through Therian. I already did Primrose and Ulbrich way back when, so keep all of that in mind. On top of that, I'm going to be doing a playthrough of a game very soon that I think is going to shock a lot of people. So recently, with all the stuff that was going on with E3, there was a reveal that was kind of lost in the middle of everything. It's actually available now. It's been available since one of the conferences. I think it was on Saturday. And it is the Skyrim Very Special Edition. So
yes,
I'm going to be doing a playthrough of that sometime in the next week at some point. Mel and I already tested it out to make sure that it would work okay. All I have to do is go... you can't say, Alexa, play Skyrim. You have to say, Alexa, play Skyrim game. Because if you say, Alexa, play Skyrim, she just plays the theme for Skyrim. So you need to say, Alexa, play Skyrim game. And we tested it out. We played it for like 15 minutes. And then, so yeah, I know how that's going to go now. So we are at some point going to play
Better question. Can you eat all the cheese?
I didn't have any cheese yet in my inventory.
Oh.
So okay. I couldn't. I didn't. I did. We could do the shouts though.
Does she ask you to repeat it?
No, she just says fuss. Like she just says the shout when you say you shout, and then she tells you when you get a skill up and when you gain levels and how much damage you take. And yeah, it's pretty in depth, but it's also kind of funny because at some point it makes fun of the fact that you're playing this version of Skyrim.
Right.
So, yeah, we're going to do an Alexa Skyrim playthrough at some point.
Sounds good.
So,
I can't wait for that.
I can't wait for it either. I was like, hey, babe, can I borrow your Alexa? It's not mine. She's the one who uses it. So I was like, I kind of need to do a playthrough of this game called a Skyrim Very Special Edition. And she's like, let's try it out right now. And now we know the truth. So, yeah, please look forward to that and Octopath on top of more Ultimate streams and some more Final Fantasy XI stuff. But on that note, Sly, I'm ready to eat.
I am too. Mine's on the way.
I have to go to mine. Like I said, I'll probably be in the car for like an hour. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this week's episode of State of the Realm. We'll see you on Tuesday next week. Although, Sly, I gotta tell you something. The following Tuesday, I can't do a show that day. So
we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
I've got a thing.
Okay.
But this coming Tuesday, we can do a show.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk. Okay. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out. We will see you next week. And until then, take care.
See you next week.
No, not Hooters Wings. No.
No, me. That's me.
Still not Hooters Wings.